I'm Annette from itsadelight.com, and today I am going to share with you 6 easy appetizers that are perfect for Christmas time, the holidays, even New Year's. None of them you have to bake. You can prep them ahead, and they are not sweet treats. So let's just jump right in, and I'm just going to start sharing with you all my little tips and tricks right as I go along. Okay, so first I'm going to just share that I just want to encourage you to use what you have. Look around your house. Do I have some odd red bowl? I had this plate. I know you think crazy polka dots. It came on Valentine's, but it's perfect for Christmas. And it actually works really well with this red bowl when I want to do different things, okay? I had some of these plates that I was using for decorating, and I found that when your food is on them, it gives just this beautiful little plaid border that I love. So look around at what you might have, and as we go through these 6 little quick appetizers I'm going to show you, you'll see I pull out candy dishes or just simple dinner plate, but just look around the house to see what you already have that you might be able to pull in and just make that look festive with your food, okay? So of course I'm kind of sticking with red and greens. The first thing that I am going to make, let me actually tell you this too. Another little tip that I do is take a picture. Take a picture of what you made last year, the festive trays or what your family loved. And then this will slip, print it off, this will slip right in your recipe box. And it's great, you take it out next year, like, what did I make for New Year's? If you got it right here, and sometimes you'll change it up some, but it's a great little tip, okay? So, does this have a name? I just call them mozzarella ball appetizers. And again, we can change this up according to your likes, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So first I start out with some mozzarella balls, and I like to get the ones that have those little herbs which sink to the bottom. So you just give them a little bit of stir, and then they come back up to the top. And the next thing I have is I have some little cucumbers, like these little mini cucumbers, okay? And I just peel striped them and put them in chunks. Then I have my grape tomatoes. Now, something that my family loves is my family loves to have black olives on these too. So sometimes I do that, but a lot of people aren't crazy about black olives. So we're just gonna make these up quick, and I'm gonna use this plate right here. And I am going to, see again, this is where I look at my picture. Do I start with my mozzarella ball? Did I not? So that little picture will help you. The mozzarella ball, I want that to be last. I want my tomato to be on first. So we're gonna put the tomato on. And I like to put my cucumber kind of on an angle. There's no right or wrong to this. And then I'm gonna put my mozzarella ball on. Easy, right? And we would do this, and we would just fill up this whole little plate with them. And my family, an extended family, really loves these. Mozzarella balls are something that we only have kind of like a special treat. So that's how they look at that, as something special, but yet this isn't sweet. And you would just fill this whole tray up. Now I'm gonna do one, and I'm gonna pull in the black olive, just so you can see. I personally think that the black olive really does look festive in there too, but I myself love black olives also. And I'll say you could do this with red and green grapes if you wanted to in your mozzarella balls. You could do whatever your favorite thing is, you could use for this little stick. That's all there is to this. And you'll see towards the end of the video, I'll show little clips of all of them all done and the platter all filled in, even more ideas for you. So that's all there is to this one. And I'm just gonna stop right there, and I'm just gonna jump in. I'm gonna show you another one that I love to do. I'm gonna wipe my hands off here. And that is, this is kind of for the littles. And the littles like to have something that's special to them too, and sometimes they don't like this kind of thing. So I have little tiny cookie cutters, and I will cut little shapes of cheese. This is just mozzarella cheese I cut out, okay? So I'll put the little snowmen cheese on the plate like so, and I kind of spread them out. But again, depending on how many littles you have, if you only have half a dozen or so. And then I will just put some red and green grapes on this plate for them as well. And then they kind of feel like this is their special little platter. And because what littles love is littles love things on a stick. And so this way they can grab it easily and they're not filling up on candy. And it's just a fun little tray for the littles, okay? And their little appetizer tray. Again, make it as big as you need to. I'm just kind of giving you a quickie, okay? So, and something else I would tell you about when you're doing appetizers is your cucumber can be cut up a day ahead. I wouldn't do it 2 days ahead, but it can be cut up a day ahead. Your grapes can be all washed a day ahead. Your cheese can be cut up at least 2 days ahead. So that's kind of nice when you go to put it together, okay? So that's on that one. Let's grab the next. Okay, so this next one is just, again, thinking simple. That's what I want to encourage you with. Sometimes we bypass the simple because apples, can I really make apples be festive? Well, apples are a very good snack for us. You're not adding another sweet, but yeah, we can make them festive. We just get a basic plate, okay? Or, if you had a printed one, I'm kind of running down on my printed one, so I just grabbed one that's got a little bit of a ridge to it. And I'm just gonna use red and green apples with some cheese slices, and I am just going to make a pretty platter. Get all your apples going together. You could do 2 reds, 2 greens. And then this, again, is such a pretty and yet simple platter. It's colorful. People appreciate it because it isn't extra fruit, it's not extra sweets. We love sweets, but it seems like the season gets filled with sweets. And so it's just a nice appetizer. You could take this to a work party, and you can cut your apples ahead. Just dip them in some either orange juice, lemon juice. That's a little tart, but you can dip it in orange juice or in pineapple juice. Works really well. Then I have some cheeses that were just bought from Costco. So I am just gonna lay some cheeses on here to make it look pretty. And then we just end up with a really lovely cheese and apple tray. So instead of your typical crackers, if you're trying to stay away from some of those starches, that's what we end up with. And people really do love this. So it might seem basic, but it's easy. So I want to encourage that with you guys. Now, also, I think oranges are another thing that go really well, either in the same thing or just just fresh sliced oranges. And when I do that, I just take a nice bread knife and I just slice them up in fairly thick slices, just like so. And oranges are very Christmassy, very in season. Again, just juicy, and I don't know, seems like we get in the mood for that about now. And slice them that way, cut them into halves. And again, you just lay these out on a tray, and you could either add your red and green apples with these, or this is just my paper plate cutting tray, but again, use that in a fun way, just the basics, okay? So I hope you'll give the cheese and apple Christmas apple tray a try, and let me show you the next one. Okay, so now I'm going to show you just a shrimp platter. Okay, basically simple and easy, but something fancy when you serve shrimp. But shrimp is easy. You don't have to really do anything to it. This is pre-cooked with the tail on, kind of a medium to small size. Okay, forgot to take my handy wrap off a minute, but let's do that. I've been keeping it cold. So again, I want to remind you, what do you have that you could use? This is just basically actually a dinner plate, but it has kind of a nice stripe on it. And this was just a really fun polka dotted candy dish that I've used for different things, but lots of times I'll even use a clear one with a clear plate, or I mix clear and white together. So if you have a clear candy dish, pull it out. What your candy dish is gonna do is gonna hold your shrimp sauce. Now I make my shrimp sauce homemade, and it's just because I don't like the store stuff is all. And shrimp is a real treat, again, for my family at Christmas time. So I can just get away with just shrimp like this on a platter, and it makes a very fancy order. So I'm gonna tell you what's in my shrimp cocktail sauce here a minute first before I stir it all around. So I started out with my 2 cups of ketchup. Then I have 1.5 teaspoons of Worcestershire. That's the brown liquid that you see in there. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. I have 2 tablespoons of horseradish right here. And I was going to show you the horseradish, but true shredded horseradish. And I believe it's in the refrigerated section, but get one that's just true horseradish. Then, of course, if you haven't seen my Shake on the Goodness course, I shook in quite a bunch of onion powder, a bit of Mom's Special seasoning salt, and that is in that course also. I've got some salt, some pepper, and that's about it. And so then what I do is I just stir this all around. And this cocktail sauce, you can make this up easily a week ahead. This lasts a couple weeks in the refrige, no problem. I think it's better if this sits overnight and it gets to kind of just steep and get all, seasoned well, but at least a couple hours, okay? So I make this like this, and I actually make like quadruple of this amount. And then you just put your sauce. So on the night of the party, this is how easy this is. You just fill your little candy dish or whatever the dish is that you're going to use to hold your sauce, okay? And then you just take your shrimp. And again, I'm going to put my shrimp on my tray, so it's all going the same direction. And I'm just going to pile it up on this plate. And people really appreciate and love just things that are simple and basic, but just look kind of fancy by just doing a little extra touches here. And then also what I will do, and you do have to think to keep them all going the same way, you see me thinking here, is I like to take a couple that have a little hook, and I like to just put a couple around my little sauce dish here. I just think that looks super cute and just very festive. And then also, you could do, I have done it before if you have one of those towers, and you can even do a second layer down below, okay? But again, just super easy by just putting your shrimp on here, a pretty little dish, pretty little spoon, and that's it. That's all there is to just a fun little shrimp dish. No cooking, no baking, no fuss, no mess, okay? So let me show you another one. This one is beef onion wraps. And again, this is something that sometimes it seems so simple, but people really love this. Even people that don't like spicy things like myself, I love these. Now, another option that you can do instead of the beef wraps is you can do turkey around them, or you could do turkey around celery, and you can also do it around pickles. People love that. Same version of your meat wrapped around a celery or a pickle. And I'm gonna use this for my glue, if you might call it that, but my savory little tasty spread that I'm gonna spread on my piece of meat here a second first. But you could also use hummus. I've done that, and hummus is a really good spread to put on in this type of fashion too. What my spread is, let me just tell you. My spread is just Trader Joe's plain cream cheese that's whipped. So it's a little tub of whipped, so it's not so thick and it's super easy. And then of course, you know me, I shook in a bunch of seasonings. I have quite a bit of dill in here, a lot of garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of parsley. Actually, and I have Mom's seasoning salt in here as well. So I stir that all up, And this lasts a long time. It goes a long ways and it lasts a long time if you have any leftover, which we usually don't. So all you do is you take out your piece of beef, and I think this little frosting knife I have kind of works really well for this, but anything works good. And these can be made up hours ahead, the morning of, and there's no problem with these at all. You put your spread on there, and then my onions were all washed, cut, and trimmed up. And then we're just gonna roll this up into our beef, and you make a nice tray of these. And you could do some pickles and some beef. I personally think that these beef ones look really pretty on this polka dotted tray. So often when I make these, I'll fill this whole tray around with the beef ones. Just as very festive with the green onion and the red polka dot. But that's all there is to this super easy appetizer. Okay, so I hope you'll give this one a try, and let me show you, we've got a couple more yet. Okay, so this next one is, the fancy name is called crudités. And crudités, it looks like the word crudites, but it's called crudités. And that's just a fancy French word for raw veggies that are sliced, or that are sliced thinly. How's that? Okay. So again, I often can't find the little paper cups. I can find them in red and green sometimes, but when I can't, I have, maybe a half a dozen, I probably have a dozen of these. And these were just like a little flower pot clear thing that came from Hobby Lobby some back in the day. They are pretty to make a tray of them that way, or some other little type of cup that you'd have. But here again, you might look at this and think that this is only a decorating tray. But when you fill it up with something that's got some red and fancy on there, it actually looks really festive and quite cute. So either way, you could pick just a plain white plate or this festive blue plate, which is I think what I'm gonna go with here today, is this little festive colored plate. And then again, I would put as many on here as I comfortably could. You know, I'd put several more on there. And this is all you do. You would think it's just like a veggie tray. But again, I think what my family loves about this is they just take it and they wander around the house and they keep on visiting. And I will have this type of thing sitting by the punch bowl or out before people get here. And I've actually used these for just about every holiday. I've used this at Easter time, I've used it at Christmas, I've used it at Thanksgiving, because it's a great way to have a little snack, but it's not a sweet thing. So I have my veggie dip here, and I'm gonna use a spoon because I want it neat. I'm just gonna put my little veggie dip in there, and your veggie dip goes in first, okay? So I just literally am putting maybe a tablespoon, maybe not quite. And you just put a little bit in each cup. And what's fun about these is, again, you can go Christmas colors, which I love to do. In the fall time, I'll pull in carrots and use orange colors. These are pea pods, and sometimes, again, we don't think of like, oh, what is green that I could use that is just festive and different from our typical celery and peppers. So when peppers, if you cut them carefully, you can actually get them to look like a little bit of a candy cane. And they are cute, having a little hook of one of those sitting outside, on the outside edge of that cup. So you could do red and green peppers if you wanted it to be festive that way. You could do celery sticks with some of the red in there. We'll put a little nice candy cane one in that one. And you don't have to fill a lot in these. Again, people just want just a little nibbling thing, and everybody will love them. They will truly love them. And that all we did was use red and green veggies, and we just put them in a cute little easy to eat cup and added a little bit of that festive red candy cane hook. And even people that you didn't think would like pea pods would like them. So that's all there is to it. Just as easy as can be. When it's all cut up, look how quickly they come together. And you could sit the extra out my family, I do that often, will come back up and they will put a little bit more dip in their cup, or they will grab some more veggies if they had too much dip. So that works too. That's how easy that is. And this is a fancy word for crudités. Or crudités is a fancy word for this appetizer. That's the right way to say it. Okay, so next I'm going to show you kind of this last one here is so simple that like there's not even a recipe. A lot of these things, there's not even a recipe. These, we call them at our house ham and cheese and pineapple sticks, because that's what they are. They're ham and cheese and pineapple on it. You can use white cheese or yellow, and I'm going to use yellow today. And I have fresh pineapple, but I will tell you, I usually always use canned pineapple. These are pineapple chunks, just because the size is all the same and it just seems a little easier. But I had this fresh, and so I decided just to use fresh, but I would typically do a canned pineapple. And again, 1 can of pineapple and a bowl full of cheese and ham, and I can fill a whole, I fill a whole pie plate with these. That's how many I do when I do this for my family. You can use the longer sticks if you want to, or you can use the little tiny toothpicks. And again, that's my preference. Sometimes you can find toothpicks that have a little fun Christmas end on it or whatever. And the key to this is to have your cheese on the bottom, because then it doesn't fall off. And so you'll have to put your ham in, and then see, my pineapple are a little bit big. Your chunks will be a little smaller. And then your cheese, like so, okay? And then again, I would just fill this plate. And once your cheese and stuff is all cut, this doesn't take long at all. This is something that your kids can do. My kids have done this for a long time. And this is something that, like, for whatever reason, our family cannot not have these at Christmas time. Like, this is a Christmas staple. Sounds crazy, right? But yeah, ham and cheese and pineapple sticks. This is also just out there, but this is a great camping snack to take along too, because it's a little bit meatier and it's not sweet. So we would just fill this all up. And again, you'll see on some pictures I show just all different ways that you can retray up these same ideas. Super simple, and nothing that you have to bake, and no sweets. So great appetizers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give some of these a try, and I'll see you in the next video.